Welcome to Jets Game Day presented by Audi. Here's your host, Eric Allen.
Welcome into Jets Game Day. Eric Allen alongside Bart Scott and St. Nick Mangold. It's the holiday season and football continues to be our present. The Jets are going to host the Los Angeles Rams at MetLife Stadium. The Jets are looking for a second consecutive victory. The Rams have their eyes on the NFC West and maybe a division title.
Yeah, they're tired right now, and after a slow start, this team is finally getting healthy, and they're playing their best football. The defense is starting to come together as well. So this is a very dangerous and capable team. Matthew Stafford's playing better than he's played in a long time.
Yeah, but speaking about playing their best football, what can we say about Aaron Rodgers since Week 8? 13 touchdown passes, 1 interception.
Aaron's doing great after having the Achilles tear. I think we're seeing Aaron at what we've all expected for the past 2 years.
Let's get in the film right now. We're presented by Moody's as always. Aaron Rodgers got big-time weapons in terms of Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams. Let's start with G5.
Yeah, we're starting with Garrett Wilson. A great young talent here in the NFL. So we're going to start with this play, and this is great play design, I think, as well as route and pitch and catch. So we have a little motion here by Lazard, which is going to soften up the defense. But because we started out Garrett as the open end, he's pressed out there, right? So this guy's on him. And this is just a simple play where he gets up the field, sets his foot, gets out. Lazard does a great job of clearing it, giving him the space, and Aaron just a little pitch and catch right out there. Easy play, 15-yard gain.
He is 67 yards shy of his third consecutive 1,000-yard season. That's Garrett Wilson. And I just wanted to ask you about the mobility that Rodgers has showcased the last couple weeks because he's feeling healthier than he has all season.
And I think that coincides with Olu, playing at a high level and making them feel comfortable in the pocket.
It was the second half for the ages for Davante Adams against the Jaguars. 9 catches, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, number 100 and number 101. But perhaps his best reception of all was this one.
Yeah, I love this play, and I think this shows 2 different things. A, Davante Adams and his ability to make the catch wherever the ball is. And B, pre-snap reads, right? To get Aaron Rodgers, Davante Adams on the same page, know what they're doing. So we're going to dive into this play here. What we're looking at here is we're getting a little hard count. All right, Aaron gives the little false knee, tries to set him up a little bit. And what that does is it shows these safeties. Right now they're looking at too high, right, Bart?
Yep.
And what it does to them is gets this guy to creep a little bit. He kind of gives it away. So now, by doing that, that allows Aaron right here to give a signal out to Davante. He gives a signal out there, lets him know, hey, this is what I want. Here's how it's going to go. And then Davante does Davante things and makes just an absolutely beautiful catch.
So this time they decided to take away the short area quickness of Garrett Wilson. If you look right here, the guy coming down, robbing in the middle of the field, to provide body help for anybody coming inside, anticipating that. When you do that, now you're giving Davante Adams the man-to-man coverage. And also understand that this is 3rd and 10. So they know you have to get to the sticks. Everybody's playing tight. Man-to-man coverage. This is Campbell, their best defensive back. And you talk about a great catch. The beauty of this catch is over the shoulder, Willie Mays style, but also the ability to keep the feet in and go dead once you catch the ball and not bobble the ball when you hit the ground.
Toe drag swag. The last 2 games, Davante Adams, 18 catches, 307 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Don't go anywhere. Coming up, we're going to put Sauce Gardner under our Jet Spotlight.
This film breakdown is brought to you by Moody's, proud partner of the New York Jets. Welcome back to Jets Game Day, presented by Audi.
All right, Sauce, it hasn't been maybe this season you guys initially envisioned, but what do you feel like you learned about yourself this year?
That us as a team can just handle adversity, me specifically, because this season has its highs and its lows, and there's been more lows than highs, so I've learned how to deal with adversity and me being in a bad headspace and knowing how to cope with those type of things, like just finding things that brings me joy. So, I would say, dealing with adversity.
What are some of the things that has helped you get out of tougher headspaces?
Being around my teammates, it's always great when you're going through something with somebody and they can relate. So us just being able to spend time with each other, and being able to relate to each other, that's helped me a lot.
What have you thought of this defensive back group and just what they have been able to do this year, different people stepping up to the plate when necessary. What have you thought of just that level of play?
Man, obviously we got to be better. You know, it's been some moments where the game came down to us and we wasn't at our best when it was required, but, you know, all in all, you know, I think, you know, the young guys, all of us had a great next man up mentality. For young guys like Quantez, JBC, Sheffield, for them to just be able to step up, it's just one standard, so, you know, it's great for them to be able to step up and just make plays.
The game-sealing interception, how good did that feel?
Man, it felt great. Obviously, I haven't caught a pick in probably like 2 years, so it was a great feeling. I really didn't know what to do for real. Like,
yeah.
It was a different type of feeling for sure, you know, even given the circumstances that we're in right now. You know, a lot of people can say it was quote unquote a meaningless game, so like it don't matter, but you know, like I said from the jump, like I'm always gonna put my standard on tape, you know. I only got one standard, and if I'm not meeting that standard, then I know I gotta be better, so you know, that's how I'm always gonna play. When I make plays, you know, I'm gonna celebrate them.
How early into that play did you realize that you were gonna get the interception?
1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. I seen both of the receivers running vertical, holding hands, so like real close to each other. So I'm like, he gonna throw it to one of them. So I try to bait him a little bit. You know, a lot of people, you know, who was just watching us probably like, why did he just throw that right to him? But you know, I baited him a little bit, and yeah.
And it worked in your favor.
It worked in my favor.
You guys have had, I think, roughly 10 games this year that have come down to one score. How frustrating has it been when it hasn't gone your way, but also what is that last factor that makes you come out on the positive side?
Like I said earlier in the week, I want to be a part of changing the culture and making this organization a winning culture, you know, so it was bigger than just like, oh, here we go again, you know, like it was like, nah, this is gonna be the game right here. We in a similar situation as we've been in the past, you know, and we haven't come through as a defense. So like, this game right here is where it starts. Let's make sure we get the job done. So, you know, everybody bought into that, players, coaches.
3 games left on the 2024 season. What do you want to accomplish in those next 3?
Find ways to win, you know, and find ways to put our standard on tape, offense, defense, special teams, because obviously right now, you know, those are only 3 guaranteed, you know, games. You know, playoffs we can't go there. So it's like, this is gonna be a great start to the off season and heading into next season.
Now, with the Rams, when you think of them and their wide receiver core like Puka Nacua, what makes them so hard to defend?
I feel like all of them, they run pretty good routes. They all are so in sync, on the same page. And I feel like Matt, you know, he understands all their like skill sets. You know, he understands like when there's certain concepts, all right, this the dude I want to get the ball to right here. You could just tell he got a great relationship with the receivers, you know, even with the running back, all of them. So they're definitely a tough team, you know, and I mean, it's proven based on the things that they've done this season, so.
Matt Stafford has had 7 interceptions this season. What can you do to maybe get another?
Just do my job. Just do my job, not try to do the next man's job, because I trust in the man next to me, and I know he trusted me as well to do my job, so just doing my job. They do say that picks come in bunches, though. They do say that, but, you know, if it comes, you know, it's just gonna be me doing my job.
Awesome, appreciate the time, Sauce.
Yeah, appreciate you.
This exclusive interview was presented by Audi. Visit your tri-state Audi dealer to get behind the wheel of yours today, or visit AudiOffers.com for more information.
Let's go inside the matchup right now. Aaron Rodgers is 41, playing at a high level. Matthew Stafford is 36. He's playing at an elite level himself, and he's got a dynamic pair of receivers in his own right, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp.
Right, and so we're going to start off with Puka here, and this is, again, play design, but also just great route running. We have double motion here by the Rams. They're bringing Cooper over and Puka over. They go from 3x1 on the top side to now 3x1 on the bottom side into play action, which really tightens up the linebackers, causes confusion down here. You see these two guys have no idea what's going on, and you got 2 receivers running wide open. Matthew Stafford makes a great throw, first down, easy pitch and catch.
But you know what's crazy is the reason why the defensive back is confused is because he has Cooper Kupp man-to-man, and he's blocking a defensive end, a Hall of Fame defensive end in Von Miller. And that's what makes this team so difficult to deal with. Their receivers act as tight ends, but at a high level, and they play receiver, but they're very active in the run game.
Look at you. You love those receivers who can block now. But when you played against them, you didn't like that.
Well, I like Braylon. He was on my team.
Cooper Kupp so far this season for the Rams, 63 catches, 657 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. Bart likes the way he blocks, but he can catch it pretty good as well.
So we have Cooper Kupp. He's going to come across here in motion. Last time we saw, he was blocking. Now he's going to go out on a route from that same motion. And this is what I love about Cooper Kupp. He's running his route vertical here. He's just running up the seam, nothing special. But what is going to happen is this defender right here is going to hold him, right? And a lot of times receivers at that point are just going to give up. What does Cooper Kupp do? He fights through the hold and still makes the catch right along the numbers. It's a beautiful catch. We still get the flags coming in for the penalty because he was getting held, but it doesn't matter for him. He's still able to make that catch.
It's so hard to try and deal with a receiver that's coming in motion because you can't press him because he's off the line. But also, Cooper Kupp is a very savvy route runner. You saw when he understood he had outside leverage, he leaned into the defender to create the separation in space because he's so big and so powerful. So that when he leans into him, when he comes off and takes the body away, he's able to create space. And Matthew Stafford's one of the greatest threaders of the needles there ever been.
Since trading for Matthew Stafford in 2021, he is 11-1 in December with the Rams. That's pretty good. Coming up, we're going to find out what the Jets are saying about their upcoming matchup against the LA Rams.
The Jets and Rams are slated to play in cold weather in Week 15, but quarterbacks Aaron Rodgers and Matthew Stafford are on a hot streak entering Sunday's game at MetLife Stadium. Since Week 8, the former NFC North rivals have combined for 29 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Stafford, who hasn't played the Jets since he was traded from the Lions to the Rams in 2021, has 10 passing touchdowns and 0 picks over his last 5 starts.
Just one of the top quarterbacks in this league right now and maybe ever. You know, he's his accuracy, his ability to extend plays, especially when things break down. You know, he's that rare guy that, you know, he can go into that mode of high efficiency and just walk you down the field, take what you give him, and then at the same time, the explosive is always a threat.
The Jets continue to shuffle pieces in the secondary. On one side of the coin, they'll be without starting safety Jalen Mills. Mills broke his collarbone against the Jaguars and was placed on injured reserve earlier this week. On the other hand, cornerback DJ Reed will be back in the fold after missing last week's game.
DJ, to me, is tailor-made for these guys, for both of them, because Cooper Kupp and Puka both, in my opinion, they're scrappy, they're tough. They're elite separators in the slot, and they just understand how to challenge leverage, beat your leverage. They know how to separate the top of routes, and to defend that, you need a DB that's got some real grit and toughness and some scrappiness to him, and that's a DJ to a T.
For the Jets, their passing offense ranks number 6 overall over the last 2 weeks, as Rodgers has thrown for 628 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. His connection with Davante Adams was unparalleled last week. Adams had 198 yards and 2 touchdowns and will face a Rams defense this week that ranks 25th overall.
I think the thing that's impacted, our team the most is his practice habits, because you've gotten a first, an upfront look at what it means to be a professional, like how you practice, how you last in the league for as long as he has and play at a high level. You see the way he goes about his business every day in the meetings, taking notes, practice, finishing everything the way he does, his attention to detail, his attention in the weight room. It's all the professionalism stuff that I think as a young player, it's good to kind of get an example of what it looks like from somebody who's been at the top of his game for a number of years now.
Let's get into a great debate presented by HCL Tech. Aaron Rodgers is on a tear. Gentlemen, will he set the Jets' single-season yardage and touchdown marks this year?
I think he has a great chance, so I'm going to go with yes. I mean, he's playing really well, and I tell you what, man, he's feeling comfortable. And when you feel comfortable, you dare to be bold. We saw the plays down the field. Garrett Wilson's playing well. Devontae Adams is playing well. I think the protection is well. I mean, I think he has a legitimate shot to play his best football. And if he plays his best football, 250 yards is a walk in the park for Aaron Rodgers with those weapons on the outside.
All right, so let's put this into context. Rodgers has 3,255 passing yards. Joe Namath threw for 4,007 in 1967. Ryan Fitzpatrick, your former teammate, on a team that you played on, of course, 2015, he had 31 touchdown passes. Rodgers has 23 right now.
I'm waffling with Bart here because, let me tell you why, cold weather games. Aaron Rodgers comes from Green Bay, loves the cold weather. Where are we finishing up? Cold, cold, cold. Potential that he thrives in the cold and can get the job done. It's a lot of touchdowns, though.
It is.
It's a lot of touchdowns.
He's 8 shy, so he's got to average 3 over the course of the next 3.
But also, when you talk about when the Jets get in on the goal line, they're not a team that runs it in, right? You saw him check to the fade to Devontae Adams last week.
He wanted to get number 100 for him.
I understand it. So he's going to want to get 102, 103, 104, right? So, like, when you get down there, the Jets are a legitimate threat with these quick screens. And even the shuffle pass to Davis, that's a shuffle pass. It's a 1-yard pass behind the line of scrimmage, but a pass is a pass.
Pass is a pass. Screen game, still a pass.
And I feel like you're going to be in shootouts because you're going against great offenses in Buffalo, and you also know that you're going against the Rams who can put points on the board. So you're going to have to match. So that means you're not going to be taking the air out of the ball. You're going to be able to have to, push the ball down the field to try and score to keep pace.
Coming up, we got one more present under the tree, our game day predictions.
This was presented by the official digital transformation partner of the New York Jets, HCL Tech, supercharging progress. Get 100% verified tickets to every upcoming game at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Jets and the NFL.
Welcome back into Jets Game Day. Eric Allen alongside Bart Scott and St. Nick. That's Nick Mangold. Let's get into our game day predictions presented by the New York Lottery. The Rams will have at least 120 yards on the ground against the Jets.
I think that's a yes. I think Kyron Williams is running, really well. You talk about how our DBs are going to have to come in the box, and they're going to have to fight off blocks and be able to get off of blocks because the receivers are going to be condensed coming in. Sometimes they actually go through the C gap in between the tackle and the tight end. So they're going to have to get involved in that, and they're going to have to play at a high level. But listen, Sean McVay gets a lot of credit for his play design, but he doesn't get a lot of credit for how tough his run game is.
McVay motions more than anybody in the National Football League. Nick, how about this one? The Jets and the Rams will total less than 47 points.
No, I think it's going to go over. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think between these two quarterbacks, a lot of weapons on the outside. Running backs are doing well. I think here at MetLife, it's going to be definitely a shootout. So I think over 47.
How about that? Devontae Adams will have more receiving yards than Puka Nacua.
I think so. I think Puka is going to have a lot of productivity because they also use him in the run game. So they hand him the ball off as a running back, a little Deebo Samuel type of action. But, Devontae Adams is in a groove right now. And I think, you look at this Rams defense, it's much improved, but it's not one of the top tier defenses in this league. They have some good young players and they're going to be good in the future. But I love my matchups against their defensive line. It's going to be a great test for Fashanu, Vera Tucker, Simpson, Morgan, and Tittman.
You read off all the reindeer there.
Yeah, exactly. And Rudolph.
How about Aaron Rodgers will have at least 314 passing yards?
314.
Yeah, that's an average over the course of the last 2 games.
Very specific. Yes. I like that. I will go over because of the weapons he has outside. I think Garrett Wilson, I know Devontae is going strong right now, but I think that is just going to open up more for Garrett Wilson. And so I think I'm going to take the over.
Let's get into our final thoughts. It is going to be cold on Sunday. Low 20s, high. Could be in the single digits by the end of the game, and it's an early start for the Rams.
I think it is going to be cold. I don't think the pretty boys from LA are going to be able to handle it, and so I think the Jets will get the win.
Right now, odds say the Rams have a 54% chance of making the playoffs. This is a huge game for them.
Yeah. And you talk about within the division what's going on. You got the Cardinals that's still hanging around, but really Geno Smith suffered a knee injury. This is a game that they have to have, or they feel like they have to have, because right now you don't want Geno to get healthy and finish the season strong. You talk about their record in December, it's going to be put to the test because I think the Jets will be up for the task.
Season's greetings from everybody here at One Jets Drive. Enjoy your football weekend. Let's see if the Jets can make it 2 in a row.